Earlham volleyball season came to a close last week, and though the record may not indicate improvement, I think once you got a chance to look at the team throughout the entire season, from beginning to end, you saw a very improved volleyball team, and head coach Lauren Crump is kind enough to be with us. And listen, I know your schedule's probably very busy right now. Well, the way I look at it, coaches never get much time off because once the season's over, you're right back into recruiting.
It started before the season started, so you're right.
Yeah.
Never a day off.
All right. I've always been curious, when a coach gets that first head coaching job, what was it like for you, and was it as you thought it might be?
A lot of things ran through my mind. As soon as I knew I got the head coaching job, I went to a couple conferences and tried to get some professional development under my belt sooner in the season rather than later. And so many good ideas that I wanted to implement, and I did catch a few that I really liked and that I got to do throughout the season. Do you want me to give you an example?
Sure.
Okay, so my philosophy is person greater than player.
Okay.
So with that being said, I met with the girls each week and just tried to figure out who they were as a person, because our season is only 2 months long.
Right.
I was with the girls for 2 weeks and 2 months, and it's already over. So I try to meet with them weekly and try to really get to know who they are, who I'm coaching and what they're thinking of. And I like to get their input on the season because it's their program too.
Right.
They make the program. And I mean, with all of that, it's been hectic, and I would like to do more. I've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Did in any time you feel maybe you were overloaded a little bit? Does it kind of get overwhelming?
Yeah, so as the assistant, you get to stand back more and watch things develop and undevelop, I guess, or unravel, I should say. And as the coach, you're kind of at the forefront of that. You really, or as the head coach, you have to, you are the reason those things either unravel or develop and progress. So, just the switch from playing assistant, head coach, they're all so different. And I really like having something that's my own, though. I get to implement my own ideas, and I get to do my own things, and the girls make it so interesting. It's an interesting season.
I've always said that as an assistant coach, you can make suggestions. As a head coach, you make decisions.
Yeah.
Did you find yourself a good decision maker?
At times. I did lean a lot on Haley, my assistant, just to, get some reassurance at some point. I know assistants do have good, they have good opinions, because I was one once, and I thought I did too. So I like to hear what she has to say. But I definitely laid the law down. I think we set a standard, or I guess I set a standard right at the beginning. And because of that, I didn't have to make too many, game decisions, I guess, when it came to the program. But just even in gameplay, I thought I made good decisions, switching the lineup, putting girls in and out of the lineup. And I thought we did well, and the girls adjusted well too.
And I'm not a volleyball aficionado, but I do know a good timeout when I see them. And
Yeah.
I thought when I watched your team perform, you knew when to call a timeout. I think that's important, isn't it?
It is. It's so hard. As a player, I never wanted Charlie to call a timeout ever, not once. And so I really tried to let the girls go on a run. If they had the right ideas and they were executing or trying to execute in the manner that I thought it was gonna go down, then I didn't call a timeout. If they were showing that they were fighting through it, because I think a timeout can really kill the vibe.
Sure.
And if I don't have anything to say, or they aren't saying anything in the timeout, you're right. It's dead.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought I'd called good timeout too.
Yeah.
I mean, either I called a timeout and they missed a serve, or I'd call a timeout and we get the ball back. I thought I used them very well, and I kind of tried to read the team, but also I did what I thought I would like as a player.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to say, doesn't that come a gut feeling as a player?
Yeah.
You knew kind of when you needed one.
Enough is enough. Or actually, my fiance at one point in the Bluffton match, he texted me. I didn't have my phone, but he texted me and said, "You should have called a timeout before they got on that run." Yeah. And so that kind of stuck with me through the rest of the conference matches. That maybe he's right. I shouldn't wait until if we're up, and we were up against Bluffton by 4 points, and they came back and they got up 2, and then I called a timeout. And so I was like, maybe I should stop it and nip it in the bud right there before they get up. And so I kind of took that throughout and made a little adjustment at my timeout calling. Thanks, Jeff.
What's there you go. What's your biggest regret as a head coach in your first year? Because we all look back and think, boy, and you've already mentioned that maybe I should have done this, and we always second guessed ourselves all that time. What was your biggest regret this year?
Not doing enough ball control.
Okay.
As a player, you want to hit. You want to do offense all day long because it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
It kind of brings out the ego, and everybody wants to hit. And I definitely knew not to do that. So at the beginning of the preseason, I didn't. We did all ball control all day, and I was seeing improvement. And so I was like, oh, let's do offense because we have a game in a week.
Yeah.
And I think I should have kind of let that ride all throughout the season. So next season, we're doing ball control every day.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, so if we've talked about maybe the biggest regret, what was the one area you thought you were, at least from a head coaching standpoint, the best at?
Implementing something. We have this orange band that goes across the antenna. Hopefully I'm not spilling my game plan, but I'll give you a little taste. This band goes across the antennas. So if you can imagine the net and just a line right there at the antenna, we try to keep our game under that. Serves, free balls, even like passes. I think, we don't have the height. I definitely over-exaggerated on the height. We don't have it. So in order to beat teams that do have it or to beat teams that are better than us, the only way to do that is to be quicker than them. Right. And so with us being so short and little and not having much of a consistent offense, we had to keep it under that line. So we kept that up during practice, and we served under it, we passed under it, we tried to set under it, and that's kind of been my go-to, and I think that's something that the girls really grasped, because when I said it, and they're like, have it at that line, what are you talking about? So we got the orange line, we put it out there, and I really think that it stuck with them, and throughout the game, they'd be like, that wasn't under the orange line. So I think that was something that was really cool, and it stuck with them all season.
I watched you throughout your entire career, as you know,
Yes.
and my son covered you throughout
Yes, he
your
did.
entire career. So we've seen you win a lot of volleyball games. How did it feel for you to lose this year? Because I know you don't like to lose. I hate to lose, and you don't accept it. But how did you get through it knowing that some of those matches that you lost, maybe you could have won, and it didn't happen for you?
Could have won, exactly. And I, even throughout my playing career, I always said hard work pays off. Yeah. And Troy, we do not practice like we're losers. We practice like champions. We practice like we're number one in the country. Yeah. And that's the mindset. And losing is not fun. Nobody wants to do it, and we don't practice to do it, which is obvious, but the potential is there, and I'm here, and I'm continuing to be here because I know that we can do it here at Earlham, and I know these girls can, and so I kind of I move and I do the things I do because it can happen.
Yeah.
And hard work pays off, and these girls, the mindset that they have right now is we have to work harder. They all said they wanted to work harder, so I guess I shouldn't say that. We need to work better. Right. In the weight room, I mean, we're going to be in there all off season. We're going to come in stronger in the summer. There's a lot that needs to be done, and I think that's why I like having this position so much, because when I played it, we weren't great before I came into the program. Yeah. We made something out of that team and that program, so I know it can be done here. Right. I'm passionate about it.
And you need that passion, don't you?
Yeah.
If you're going to get
energy,
it done.
yeah.
So do you have that energy right now after the season?
I do. Yeah. And I think going back with those regrets, I think I wasn't creative as I should have and could have been in the season. I got to motivate my girls when I was playing, so it was so easy to do it because I was with them, and they were with me, and it's such a different dynamic. And as a head coach, sometimes you don't always get that pulse on the team. Yeah. So that's why I rely on Haley and my captains. And but I think I'm so pumped up right now, and actually, can I go off a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah. At the end of the season, I had all the girls write a letter to themselves for next year. Okay. Because these thoughts and feelings that I'm feeling right now, I may not feel in a year. So, and the same with them. So they all wrote themselves something. Haley and I both wrote ourselves something, and that's what I have. Be more creative. Yeah. Implement that fun and that creative side into practice, and show up every day with this pumped up manner. And same with them, because they all want it. But I was like, was that there the whole year? Hindsight's 2020. But if we continue to work hard every day, we'll get there. It'll happen.
All right, recruiting, before I let you go, and recruiting's a huge part of this,
Yes,
and now
it
you
is.
go out there and beat the Paz again. Tell us a little bit about your recruiting and what's your philosophy and who you going out and what are you looking for?
So that person greater than player, that's kind of what I hone in on. I don't want to get, and I said it before, volleyball robots. That sounds bad, but I don't want somebody that is their life. I want it to be just something that's very important to them, because if they're confident in other areas, they can bring that confidence into volleyball.
Sure.
For example, one of our players is, she's very, very good at performing arts. And she's so confident there that she brings that into the court, and she, brings a spunk and a spark to the team. So I try to find girls that have, something unique about them, something that will make them an Earlhamite and a good Earlhamite, because that's what's important, is finding somebody that wants to be here for the school and for, academics, but also for my team, and somebody that can fall into both, both genres of the school, I guess.
So you really, it has to be a special type of player and person, right?
Right. I mean, right now our program is traditionally, just unsuccessful. And, it takes a certain kind of kid to want to come in and be the difference. And that's what I tell these girls when I talk to them right off the bat. If you want to come in and, break records, win a conference game first. We haven't done that yet. And then go on to win that championship. And it can happen, but it takes a certain type of person. And if I don't get that vibe from them, then I don't want them here, and they don't belong here either, because we are not going to get our wins easily. It's going to take a lot of fight. And I think a lot of the girls that I talk to, they're not scared by that.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, a challenge? Okay, I can do that. And the ones that want to kind of, knuckle up with that is who I want here.
Well, you have a good core back, right? I mean, you've got a good solid
We
nucleus.
do, and that's kind of the first time in a while. I think the spring season is going to be amazing, because we've got 11 girls there, and it's not, as in the past where we just had minimum numbers. We have a lot of girls, and they're excited, and we all want to do it.
All right. Coach, good to see you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Of course, now, remember, basketball season's coming up as well. We want to make sure that you check out the Earlham Sports website for the upcoming schedules, and we'll be talking with head coaches on both sides as well. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.